Welcome back to the GSMC Hockey Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Garrison McDaniel, and we're getting into the third segment of the night, talking about the Canucks re-signing some key pieces. So we talked about the trade that they made. They traded away Ilya Mikheyev, Sam Lafferty, clearing up about $7 million, or $6.5 million in cap space, with $4 million of it being Ilya Mikheyev and $2.5 million being Sam Lafferty. In return, they get a 4th-round pick. They also have to give up a 2nd-round pick to make this cap dump because it is a clear cap dump move, and no team's going to let you do that for free. So they were able to re-sign Dakota Joshua, who was a fantastic forward for them this past season. They re-signed him to $3.25 million for the next 4 years, the 28-year-old forward out of Ohio State. Played very well this season. This is only his second season really consistently being in the NHL. Last year, 23 points in 79 games played. This year, 32 points in 63 games played with 18 goals. It's a fantastic season for a third-line forward. That's kind of what you want to see from your third line. So very impressive from Dakota Joshua, who isn't really known for his scoring, really known for his defensive style of play. So that's a good deal for a depth piece that proved that he is a good depth piece. He is now 5th in their contracts of their annual AAV of forwards. I believe he's around 8th or 9th overall, which is really where he is on his team. Makes sense. They also re-signed Tyler Myers, who made it very clear that he wanted to play for this team again next season. Tyler Myers, 34-year-old defenseman. He is 6'8". Huge guy, 230 pounds, 6'8", 230. Kind of looking like Anton Silyev, who we'll talk about in the 5th segment, the draft prospect that went 10th overall tonight. Tyler Myers signed 3 years, $3 million for $9 million total for the next 3 years. He has been on the Vancouver Canucks for 5 seasons now. Last year, 24 assists in 77 games played, but it's a plus 16. You don't get him for his playmaker ability. You don't get him for his offensive ability. You get him because he's 6'8", and that's invaluable. Getting that size on the blue line, that's fantastic. They get that. It is an impressive. It's impressive that they were able to get these two guys because it looked like the Vancouver Canucks were in cap down under. I can't say that word on the stream, but you can infer what I'm talking about here. So they were able to re-sign 2 guys that they really needed to. Now they're looking at Elias Lindholm and Nikita Zadorov. Nikita Zadorov has made it clear he will not re-sign for the Vancouver Canucks. For whatever the reason being, it is clear that he won't be a Vancouver Canuck next season. He wants to test the free agency market, where he probably will sign around $5-6 million contract. So it's good on him. Nikita Zadorov will get paid this offseason to be a second-line defenseman for any team. He can very well fit in right there. But Elias Lindholm, it seems like they made a lot of room in cap space, and it seemed like they wanted to re-sign Elias Lindholm to a big contract. Of course, Elias Lindholm, the forward that they acquired from the Calgary Flames just this offseason, not just this offseason, but just at the trade deadline this season. In 12 games played for the Vancouver Canucks, or in 26 games played for the Vancouver Canucks, only 12 points on the season, a -6, but in his 13 playoff games, had 10 points. You get Elias Lindholm for his upside. He had 82 points in 82 games played, 42 goals in 2021-2022. That was the year that Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau and Elias Lindholm was a fantastic line for the Calgary Flames, probably one of the best lines in hockey. But 82 points in 82 games played, 47 points in 56 games played, 54 points in 70 games played, 78 points in 81 games played. This guy is a scorer in the NHL. Has always kind of been productive wherever he's been, since he's been on the Calgary Flames. Wasn't too productive on the Carolina Hurricanes in the mid-2010s. However, when he got to the Flames, became a very pivotal piece for the Calgary Flames, and since they start their rebuild, had to get rid of him. But now it leaves the Vancouver Canucks with a lot of money. They have $12 million. They do still need to re-sign Artur Shilovs, but I believe that won't be a problem. It's an RFA goalie. I can't imagine him wanting too much. So you have $10 million to work with in free agency. Steven Stamkos is out there. You could still sign Elias Lindholm. Maybe if Sam Reinhart goes through the cracks of the Florida Panthers, you can attract him to be a Vancouver Canuck. They have a lot to work with. We'll see what they decide to do. But they can go out and get a huge piece that could really help this core. Really, from the start of the season, you're not losing anybody. From the trade deadline, you might be losing Nikita Zadorov. You might be losing Elias Lindholm. You did lose Sam Lafferty, Ilya Mikheyev. However, those are pieces you're willing to give up if you're going to get huge piece back in free agency. So I expect to see the Vancouver Canucks be a pivotal buyer in the free agency market. Maybe get one of the bigger free agent names out there, as this free agency class can be, it can be very good. It could be very. You could go out and get somebody huge. I saw reports today that Steven Stamkos got offered a $3 million contract by the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's disrespectful. That guy's coming off of an $8.5 million or a $6.5 million contract, scoring 40 goals this season. Yeah, he's 34, but man, $3 million for him, that's disrespectful. For a guy that got you 2 cups, come on. Got to pay him at least 4 to 5, right? But they could definitely go out and get I believe Jake Gensel is in talks with a contract extension in Carolina. I saw in the ballpark of a $9 million per year deal for 8 years. That might not be completely true, but that's what I saw, which would be insane. But Sam Reinhart will definitely want around $10 million. Teuvo Teravainen could want somewhere around $8 to $9 million. You also have players like Brady Shea, who's out there, Jonathan Marchessault, who's out there, Vladimir Tarasenko, Alexander Wenberg. A lot of guys that can produce on this team. If they want to get 2 forwards instead of just the one top end forward, there's guys like Tyler Toffoli and Victor Arvidsson that are going to be out there. Jack Roslovic. There's a lot of guys that teams could really make a splash on here. This free agency class is one of the strongest ones that I've seen in recent memory, so I can't wait to see where these names go. But for the Vancouver Canucks, they do lock up their core, and now what we're looking at with this team is a very strong forward group with a good defense behind them. We're looking at JT Miller, Elias Lindholm, Brock Besser. That's probably their first line. Then you probably go with a Connor Garland, insert center Niels Hoglander, second line maybe, third line being Dakota Joshua, Teddy Blueger, and then maybe Podkolzin, I believe that's how you pronounce that name, and then the fourth line Philip DiGiuseppe, Niels Oman, Pia Suter could also be on that fourth line. We'll see what they decide to do here, but I do think that they could go out and add 2 forwards and make this team a real cup contender, and it'll be interesting to see. Coming up, they do have Jonathan Lekkerimäki, who I believe could be ready for next season. We've been waiting for him to really make a next step, and this could definitely be the year that he does it. You have, on the defensive side, not too many big names. Coming up for your defense prospects, but I don't think you need it because your defense is pretty good, and you have 6 defensemen under contract. You have Quinn Hughes, Filip Hronek, Carson Soucy, Tyler Myers, Noah Juleson, and Mark Friedman. They might want to improve on Mark Friedman or Noah Juleson, but that's a good defensive core. That's some good forwards. This team's going to be good again next season. They were fantastic last year. Some question marks with the team during this offseason, as it looked like they weren't going to have enough cap for everybody, but they made some room. Worked with the Blackhawks. Now this team's ready for next year. We'll see what they do, but I think that their window is definitely now. And this team is a very, very good team. So we'll see what they do in free agency. They are probably one of the biggest teams that I'm looking at to see what they do in free agency, as I think it's clear that they go out and get a big name. So that'll wrap it up for our third segment of the night, talking about the Canucks re-signing key pieces. When I come back, we're going to be talking about the Oilers general manager, Ken Holland, stepping down out of kind of nowhere as his contract does expire.